When? Okay, come. First, let's start right now. Come inside. The first will start is happening in the solution. And then what do you say? Come on. I don't know.
أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام ميم. ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون أولئك على هدى من ربهم وأولئك هم. These 5 ayat, every word in them is critical. We started the tafsir or the explanation last time, and we stopped at al-ghayb, and we described ghayb as you have a temporary ghayb, you have a permanent ghayb, you have relative ghayb, you have absolute ghayb, and you have spatial ghayb. And we discussed the differences between these, and we concluded that the absolute ghayb that will continue to be ghayb is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Angels are ghayb, but only temporary ghayb. When we go to Jannah, and those who go to hell will meet the angels. And the angels will not be ghayb anymore for them and for us, inshallah. And day of judgment is ghayb. But when day of judgment comes and we are there, it's no longer ghayb. Jinn are ghayb. But when we are together in Jannah for mu'min jinn, and those who go to hell with non-mu'min jinn, everybody will experience a close relationship with jinn. So jinn will not be ghayb anymore. Jannah is not going to be ghayb anymore. Nar is not going to be ghayb anymore. The only ghayb that will continue to be ghayb is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad also will continue to be ghayb. In degrees. To a certain degree, Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad will always be ghayb. Now, yes, people met Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and they thought that he wasn't ghayb, but he was ghayb. Most people did not understand Rasulullah, even his followers, even the ones who paid their lives to protect him, they didn't really know who Rasulullah is. And Rasulullah made that clear by a statement that he told Imam Ali about it. He said, "O Ali, Ya Ali, ما عرف الله إلا أنا وأنت وما عرفني إلا الله وما عرفك إلا الله وأنا." So the rest of the people, including the prophets, didn't know Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they can't know him. And they didn't know Imam Ali, and they can't know him. To fully know something, you have to have very close relationship. To know Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, you have to be very close to them. Not sitting next to them physically, that doesn't make any difference. Close to them in attributes. Close to them in objectivity. Close to them in the vision, in the way they see it. And Muslims thought that some of the Ashab were so close to Rasulullah and so high. And they were absolutely wrong, and they continue to be wrong. None of Ashab Rasulullah, even the closest one, really understood Rasulullah. That's why they were fighting in his presence. That's why they sometimes objected to his opinions. That's why sometimes they told him, is this from you or from Allah? Because they didn't understand. Literally, they didn't understand. Yes, they were big shots in Islam, and some of them were Khalifa, but we can easily prove that they did not understand. Had they understand, they would have complete submission to Rasulullah. Had they understood this Rasulullah fully represent Allah, is the full Khalifa of Allah, then they would have realized that any argument with Rasulullah is disagreement with Allah. Anytime you disagree with Rasulullah, anytime you have a different opinion than that of Rasulullah, you are having a different opinion than Allah, and you are claiming that you understand better than Allah. As simple as that. Whether we want to acknowledge that or not, it's up to us. But the reality is, anyone who disagreed with Rasulullah on any issue, or had a conflict with Rasulullah on any issue, he had a conflict with Allah. He disagreed with Allah, and when you disagree with somebody, you think you are equal to him or even better. Inside, that's what you are. Now, because of that, we give them the benefit of doubt, and we say they did not know what Rasulullah is, and they didn't mean to argue with him as a Rasulullah. They argued with him, thinking that he's somebody like them who received Jibreel by mistake or by non-mistake, whatever it is, thinking, no, Allah doesn't make mistakes. Allah chose Rasulullah, and He made him the last of the messengers for a reason, and He made him the master of the messengers for a reason. Allah doesn't make mistakes. He chose Imam Ali, and He made him the brother of Rasulullah for a reason. He didn't choose anyone else. Why? Anyway, so Rasulullah, Imam Ali, Sayyida Fatima, and Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, all the way to Imam Mahdi are ghaib. They are the ghaib. They are the absolute ghaib. They are the ghaib that will continue to be ghaib. Everything else will not be ghaib. Only Allah and Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam will continue to be ghaib. The rest, no, they will not be ghaib. So الذين يؤمنون بالغيب are the Shia. That's a reality. If you are not a Shia, you don't believe in ghaib. You don't. If you don't believe in Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam and understand that they are the chosen ones by Allah, then, and you don't believe that they are in charge of you the way Allah is in charge of you, then you have no iman with ghaib. Then let's discuss the word iman itself. The word iman is not equal to belief. Iman is translated into English with a word that people thought it's equivalent to iman, and that is belief. Belief is not iman. Imam Ali alayhi salam described iman, and in one statement he says, "Al-imanu amalun kullu." Iman is all of it actions. None of the iman is just theoretical. None of the iman is just an idea in the head that you believe in and you are feeling comfortable with. No. Iman is something that grows in your heart and motivates you all the time to do things in accordance with the rules of Allah. That's what iman is. Iman is not just an idea that you entertained and you accepted and you thought it made sense and you felt comfortable with and you accept. No. Iman, yes, iman is built on aql. Without aql, you cannot have iman. Things that are not aql cannot have iman. They have submission. Earth does not have iman. Earth has submission. قالتا أتينا طائعين. The earth and the skies, when Allah says تيا طوعا أو كرها قالتا أتينا طائعين, we come with submission. But do they understand the mission of Allah? No. There is no need to understand for them. But the iman requires aql. Without aql, you cannot have iman. And the aql has to process everything and analyze it and come to a conclusion. Then Imam Ali alayhi salam, he said, describing the mission of the prophets, وَبَعَثَ اللَّهُ النَّبِيِّينَ لِيُثِيرُوا دَفَائِنَ الْعُقُولِ. The prophets, Allah sent them to stir up, to motivate, to excite the hidden minds, the minds that have been buried down. Without motivating your aql, the Prophet cannot make you a mu'min. The Prophet presents the theories, present the proofs, but these proofs can only be understood by a motivated aql. Without a motivated aql, there would be no true acceptance of the evidence. And the evidence can be of two types. It could be physical, and it could be spiritual, and it could be mental. Meaning, you have to analyze and understand and see what's happening at a level that only the mind can understand. It's not something you touch. It's something that you have to process in your head, and that process has to be built on correct logic. Not every logic is a correct logic. It has to be built on the correct logic. The scholars, our scholars, the Shia scholars, and the Sunnis study logic. There's something called ilm al-mantiq. They have to study logic so that they can process the ideas and make a good conclusion. Without logic, we will never have iman. So الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. So we don't just believe in ghaib just because my father told me, my mother told me, or the shaykh. No, we have to acquire that iman, and we have to acquire the iman also in ghaib. Allah is ghaib. The Prophet, even though he is standing in front of us, is still ghaib. The angels are ghaib. We have to believe in them. We can't see them. They are ghaib now. They are not absolute ghaib, as we said, but they are ghaib now, and we have to believe in them now. But how? By understanding, by processing our thoughts in our head correctly, by learning, putting things together logically. Then we have to conclude there are angels. We don't just say, oh, somebody told me there are angels. I heard people talk about angels and I believed in them. No. You believe in angels to the point that as if you are seeing. You believe in heaven as if you are seeing. You believe in hell as if you are seeing. You believe in day of judgment as if it is there already. So Iman al-Ghaib includes Allah, prophets, Nar, Jannah, Yawm al-Qiyamah, and even the rules of Islam that we do not understand. There are many rulings that most Muslims follow without understanding. We don't know exactly why, but since it is in the Quran, since Rasulullah said that, we just accept it. That's Iman of submission. So without Iman of Ghaib, we are not among the muttaqin. But the Iman is not just accepting the idea. It is something that you have to grow to. It has to come to the heart, and is in the heart in such a way that it has a grab on your heart. It doesn't allow you to accept any conflict with that idea. Once you agree that Allah is Allah and Rasulullah is Rasulullah, anything that conflicts that you disagree with, automatically, you don't give it a chance. You might want to study it so you can prove it wrong to those who don't know. But you don't study it to prove it yourself. Is that possible? No. It already conflicts Quran. It contradicts Quran. It already has a conflict with the existence of Allah. It already has a conflict with the day of judgment. Then I immediately drop it. That's a sign of Iman. The other sign of Iman is anytime you have a conflict, you like something, Allah likes something, then you have to work on two things. First, you need to do what Allah wants you to do, regardless of what you like and what you dislike. The second thing you need to do, and which is even more important, is that you need to align your like to what Allah likes. When you find out that you like something that Allah doesn't like, you need to correct that and bring yourself to a point where you like Allah, or you like what Allah likes, and dislike what Allah likes. That is Iman. That's it. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة. Establishing salah. Iqamat salat means to make the rulings that follow salat in charge of you. You make your relationship with Allah in charge of you. Iqamat salat is not just standing here and praying the 5 prayers. That is ta'diyat salat. Ta'diyat salat means you fulfill the duty of salat is one thing. Iqamat salat is different. Iqamat salat, it means you make the prayer your ruler. You make your relationship with Allah in charge of every action, in every act. That's Iqamat salat. Because of that, Imam Ali says, Iqamat salat wilayat. Those who do not have wilayat to Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, they can never do Iqamat salat. They can make salah. They can stand up and pray. They can perform salah, but they cannot make Iqamat salat. وإقامة الصلاة ولايتنا أهل البيت. That's the part, because the ultimate Iman is proven by following Muhammad wa ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. So you believe in ghaib, you let salat, meaning your relationship with Allah, be ruling in your life, ruling all your actions, and then also you give from the things that Allah has provided you. You give, if you are a scholar, you share your knowledge. If you are physically powerful, you may help your neighbor with things that he can. If you have experience, you may share that experience. If you have money and your neighbor is poor, you share money. If you have an advice to share, all of these things are rizq. Hikmah, wisdom is rizq. Ilm is rizq. Love, you are able to love. That's rizq. So you share love with others. If you have mercy, you should grow it and share it with others. If you have money, you share it with others. Food, you share it with others. Clothes, you share it with others. Sometimes sympathy. Somebody is feeling bad. You come and share with them and you sympathize with them. That's وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. All of that. It's not only money. It's not only food. Anything you help others with to make them feel better and bring them closer to Allah. Because people who don't feel very good and they are upset with things around them, they are usually upset with Allah. They don't like what's happening, say, whoa, even when they say God, they say, God, why did you do that? Because they don't know. So you coming on the behalf of Allah, acting on the behalf of Allah, you are the Khalifa of Allah. Because you are a mu'min. You come and perform what Allah wants you to do. Help those who are in need. Help those who are upset and sad. Give love. In any way, give help. Even if they were not mu'min, that's fine. Just knowing that you are a mu'min and you are doing what Allah wants you to do. الناس إما أخ لك في الدين وأما أخ لك في الخلق. الناس صنفان. you can classify people into two divisions. One is a brother in Iman, and the other one is a brother because he is the son of Adam, and you are the son of Adam. So he is still your brother. So you try to help him anyway, even when he is kafir. As long as your help to him does not increase his kufr, does not enable him to do something bad. No, you help with passion, you help with understanding, with wisdom, with love, with care, with. I'm not saying you need to accept everybody the way they are. No, this is not. No, Islam is not like that. يأمرون بالمعروف وينهون عن المنكر. You are going to, bring them close to you with the objective that you're gonna help them change in the best and easy way, something that they find easy to digest and accept. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآل محمد. Inshallah, we'll continue with the rest of these 5 ayat tomorrow. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.